G'day mate and welcome to Factorio with me, JD. The mod I've actually chosen to highlight this week is the Ribbon Maze mod. Now it's one I'm actually running on the current community map, and I need to go through a couple of the settings first before we... Well, actually, let's go through the map first. So, the map is, as you can see, a bit of a maze. So, Ribbon map is normally a predetermined width or a predetermined height. This takes that idea and then sort of adds this maze overlay, which means rather than just having a straight walk, in that direction as far as you want, you actually need to run through the maze to find out which direction it actually goes forward deeper into the maze. Now, because I'm running creative mode, I've got a couple of researches already done. The two we're going to go over really quickly is oil scanning, which is 250. It's a little bit expensive, but it's for those lazy people who don't want to actually go off and explore the maze, and uranium scanning, which is 1,000, which is the same cost as nuclear power, and that'll just scan and automatically reveal any crude oil or uranium within the first 1,000 tiles of start. In the mod options, we already have these two tick boxes which you can turn on, which just basically saves you the research, or you go explore the map. On top of that, we've got dead ending for the different resources, so you can see like I've got oil here and coal here. It means anytime we come to a dead end, we can choose whether we have ore there or not. It means that you don't have ore showing up in the path of the maze, which I think is a really, really good feature. It means when you find ore, obviously turn around, you've gone the wrong way, go back. On top of that, it means all your train loading and unloading, all that sort of stuff, are happening in dead ends rather than in the main path of the maze. On top of that, there's this final setting here that's the maze block size. So we got 32, 64, 96, blah, 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 blah. A 32 is what's referred to as a chunk size in Factorio, which is 32 tiles across. It is this width we're looking at here, because this is the default settings for the mod when you install it. If you change that up to 64, it's obviously going to be twice this width. And it's also going to make the map twice as wide. If you change up to some of these higher values, it just increases that width of the maze. The maze itself is... Actually, I need one of these radars to do a quick reveal of the bottom half of the map. The maze itself is 21 tiles across. So if you change that chunk size from 32 to 64, it's still 21 tiles across. It's just the tiles are twice as wide. Also means none of your turns are quite as sharp for train tracks, and a little bit more room to build. So if you want a little bit of an easier run, obviously look at those settings. On top of that, there's a couple of researches they add. So there's the oil scanning, the uranium scanning that we went over. The other one that they add is the maze terraforming. So it adds a artillery turret and artillery shell that you can use to actually terraform the maze. It is very, very, very late tech. Look at the recipe there. You need an atomic bomb and artillery shell just to get yourself started. So it's a very, very late tech and very, very expensive to use. On top of that, there's no artillery remote, so it fires at random. So you don't have a lot of control about where these shells land and what bits get changed from the blackness back into, potentially usable land. So, along the starter, or the start of the map, and anytime you terraform the maze chasm, it automatically turns into water, which is lined with these mangroves. Now, the mangroves are a infinite resource, and as you can see, they're a sustainable source of wood with high moisture content. Landfill destroys it forever. And when I harvest these, I get actually green wood. Here we go. Green wood can be dried into raw wood, and then there's occasionally these ones, which will actually give me dry wood to start with. Okay. So, being Factorio, you can use these auto harvesters. Which of course look like a tank, because why not? And as you can see, this one's producing 3 wet wood, right, or green wood per second, or 0.3. And this one, who I've managed to get on, a bit of dry mango grove and a bit of wet mangrove is producing 0.1 of each of these per second. Now, these can run up here, and I've actually got a furnace here drying that wood for me. So we're running in here with drying the green wood and burning the green wood to turn it into raw wood, right? And I've got an inserter ring, right, to get the dry wood back in there as fuel into raw wood shredding. So this is how to get those artillery turrets. First off, we need landfill, and the recipe's been slightly changed, which is more fun to deal with. So we've got raw wood shredding, which gives us one piece of green composting, I think it's called. Got to go backwards. Composting greens and composting browns. So it gives us 1 green composting greens and 9 composting browns. This one does the other way around. It gives us 9 greens, 1 brown for 1 lot of green wood. You need to fit 100 composting browns and 150 composting greens into this machine to then spit out 200 compost, I think they're called. Yeah, 200 compost. And it's also going to spit out 500 water that you need to deal with. All right. After that's done, of course, you just need a whole heap of wood. So we'll feed you some wood real fast. Nope, we need green wood. Have green wood. You done yet? And again, this has got a really long crafting time. 60 seconds to pump out 200 compost. Okay, we load the compost in here. We only need 80 stone for landfill, which is a lot more than normal. And it now takes 2.5 seconds. Right, with 8 compost and 1 geocomposite. So geocomposite is over here, which again, it's unique to this sort of this scenario, which needs 2 bits of wood, 2 bits of plastic, 1 piece of refined concrete, and 100 lots of steam at 500 degrees. So you actually need to hook this up to some sort of heat exchanger, right, to make steam at the right temperature, to then feed into these 2 lovely machines. Where are you up to? Come on, spit out. So compost comes in here. We get landfill, and as you can see, I've got my landfill coming along on a belt, which comes over to our artillery, our maze terraforming artillery shell, which needs pipe, which as you can see I've got here. Also needs cliff explosives, because why not? And that recipe is unchanged. It's the same as it always was. We also need an atomic bomb. So you're going to make some nukes to feed in here to make artillery shells. Plus you need 25,000 steam. As you can see, I've got 4 little boilers here pumping away at full speed. And I got 11,000 steam. On our community map, we've actually got one of these hooked up to, I think it's 16 heat exchangers each. Yeah, pumping straight in this machine, and even then we still can't feed it with steam fast enough. It's really, really, really pushing our limits. Anyway, that'll give us a maze terraforming artillery shell. Now, I've got a couple of these already made, and we're just going to load them straight into this artillery turret and watch it fire. It's probably going to pick about here. There we go. I was that close. Which will reveal this area. So we're going to have automatically these mangroves and water. Now I can landfill the water, and we're just going to grab some landfill real quick. And as you can see, I can landfill without a problem. It does kill these mangroves, which of course you might need more of, to produce more wet wood and dry wood, to then make more composting materials, to make more landfill, to make more artillery turrets. So it's not as a finite resource, but you have to be careful about where you do and don't landfill, to make sure that you always have some of those materials still available to continue the process. As you can see, by the sheer expense of these artillery turrets, you're probably not going to terraform a lot of the map. You know, we're running on a Megabase with our community map, and hopefully I'll leave a link up in the top right hand corner to the actual playlist for the community map. We're 15 days in. I think we're 250 hours in, and we have terraformed about 1/16 of our map. You know, in like 15 days worth of playtime. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. That is the mod highlight for the Ribbon Maze. It's a great little mod if you want to set yourself a challenge and you want some unique building. This is definitely a mod I would strongly recommend. I had the joys of trying to build a bus in this section with train tracks passing down the outside, and it was definitely a challenge. It was probably one of the hardest challenges I've ever had. Anyway, as always, link to the mod will be down in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. Do hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one. All right, bye.